On September 17, 1787, our founding fathers adopted the Constitution for the United States of America. 4 years later, on December 15, 1791, the framers adopted the Bill of Rights, and along with it, the Second Amendment, allowing every man the right to bear arms. In 1791, there was no opposition to firearms. But today, people have become more polarized, more caustic in their words, and more adverse to compromise than ever before when dealing with the issue of gun control. But why is this the case? And why is something so strict and permanent as the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution in such hot debate as it is today? Here's why.
Saddened, we all are, to know that 2 students lost their lives in Southern California. Others have been injured in a disgraceful...
Monday, March 5th, 2001, started like any other normal day. It was about 9:30 in the morning after the first block, and everybody's going to the bathroom or their classes or having a snack or whatever.
And my first thought was fight. There's a fight somewhere, because kids always run to fights. I hadn't heard any gunshots or anything. And then a kid yelled, a girl, I remember her face, and she had this horrible look on her face, terrified look, and she said, "Somebody's shooting." And it's really interesting because at that point, suddenly, everyone was gone. I couldn't see anybody. The campus looked virtually empty from my perspective. I instantly reacted, and what happens in situations like this is that your body takes over, your brain wants to survive. And so for me, I was filled with a real sense of calm, a sense of quiet, and a sense of focus and purpose. And that one focus and purpose was that I needed to keep these kids safe.
The police came through and building by building told us to go across the street.
And it's when I got across the street, I was heading down towards the Albertsons parking lot, which was a staging area for everybody, that it really hit me what was going on.
13 wounded, 2 murdered, 32 shots rung out that Monday when Charles Andy Williams opened fire on our school, Santana High. But there have been other tragic incidences that have ignited the gun control debate, causing people to clamor for the abolition of firearms.
Mr. Horror, from my cold, dead hands.
Then there is the other side who believes that the Second Amendment should be interpreted literally. Thus begins the debate. Let's start by looking at the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment is taken in the way I see it, two totally different ways. One side sees it as the right of everyone to own any kind of weapon they want to own. Okay? The other side says they're not reading part of the Second Amendment or they conveniently forget it. Now both schools, of course, classically pick and choose how they want to interpret literalism. And so the great idea, or the controlling idea, is this notion of militia. What is that? Does that mean that everybody should have a gun? Or does that simply mean like the National Guard? It would be the equivalent today.
But how do other people view the gun question? For some further insight, we went to the Del Mar Fair Gun Show.
I'm recently kind of getting into firearms in California, and I've read their requirements on a lot of them, and it's complete buku. It sucks.
The Second Amendment? Yeah, I just think that the government should stay out of the business of gun control.
And another issue arises. Do stricter gun control laws reduce crime?
No. I don't think that they can do that effectively. No, crime is not something that's attached to why, if people own guns or not. It's if people are going to be violent, it's in their own will. It's not attached to a tool that they have.
In the American cities of Washington, D.C. and Chicago, Illinois, statistics show that the respective handgun bans did little to affect crime. In Chicago, murder rates with a handgun went up 40%. In Washington, D.C., the average murder rate went up 73%. However, the fact remains, the United States has more firearms than any other first world country and has an astronomically larger firearm-related homicide rate. Do we need a reduction of firearms in America? And more importantly, what does this issue say about our government?
I see it as an issue where people have become, and parties have become so polarized and so antagonistic toward one another and not willing to compromise. I see that as maybe the gun issue is just a symptom of what's really going on with these people. It doesn't seem like to me anybody's really willing to sit down with somebody from across the aisle and say, okay, we have a problem here, what can we do to fix it?
As for the gun issue, we can understand. We can relate. We have felt it directly in our community, all dating back to one fateful day, March 5th, 10 years ago.